Hey, welcome to the new episode in the series, Why Automations Fail in Production.
A retry sounds harmless. Something failed, so the system tries again. But in automation, that can be the moment one action turns into 2 emails, 2 orders, or 2 record updates. The risk is not the retry itself. It is retrying something that leaves a side effect behind. By the end, you'll know when retries help, when they hurt, and the simple rule for deciding whether to retry, verify, or stop. That decision gets much easier once you can spot the difference between a harmless repeat and a duplicate side effect. So let's start with the basic pattern. Retries feel safe because they sound like a second chance. If a step fails, trying again seems responsible. But that only works when repeating the step does not change the final result in a harmful way. If the step sends something, creates something, or changes something, a second run can produce a second side effect. Let's make that more concrete. Think of it like calling a restaurant twice for the same order. You may mean well, but the kitchen hears 2 requests. That is why the real question is not just whether it failed. The better question is, what happens if I do this again? In automation, that question protects you from duplicate work. That is the real test. If repeating the step creates another side effect, the retry can make the problem worse. Not every failure signal means the action truly failed. The safer question is whether a second run would still leave you with one clean result. And noisy signals are where production gets tricky. A network timeout does not always mean the action failed. It may only mean your system did not get the answer back in time. The original request could already have gone through. That's why timeouts need to be read carefully, not treated as automatic proof of failure. Next, partial failures make that even harder. Partial failures make this even trickier. Your workflow might stop at the last step it can see, while the downstream system has already processed the action. So the automation thinks the first run did not finish, and it tries again. But the first attempt may have already succeeded. That is how a retry turns an unclear signal into duplicate work. So the question becomes, what did the downstream system actually do? That is why timeouts are dangerous to read as proof of failure. Sometimes they are only proof that the response was unclear. If you cannot tell whether the first action completed, blindly repeating it is a guess. And guesses are expensive when the step creates records, sends messages, or moves money. That is the gap idempotency fills. Idempotency sounds technical, but the idea is simple. An action is idempotent if running it once or multiple times leads to the same end result. In plain language, if I repeat it, I do not create extra damage, extra duplicates, or extra changes. Reading a record is usually safe to repeat. Creating a record, sending an email, or charging a card is not safe unless it is protected. Let's test that idea with an order. Here is the order example. If an order creation step times out and the workflow retries without a unique transaction or idempotency key, it may create 2 orders instead of 1. With an idempotency key, the system recognizes the repeat request and says, "We already handled this." Same intent, same result, no duplicate order. Now, the quick test is simple. Quick check. If this step ran twice by accident, would the final state still be okay? If yes, it is likely idempotent or protected. If no, it needs guardrails. That one question is often enough to separate safe retries from dangerous ones. Next, let's look at the most common mistakes and the quick fixes. First, people retry everything by default. The quick fix is to separate read-only steps from write actions. Reads are usually low risk. Writes need protection. If you can split those paths, your retry logic gets much safer right away. The next mistake is even more common. Second, people assume a timeout means failure. The quick fix is to verify first when possible. Check the downstream system or a status record before firing the same action again. That way, you confirm what happened instead of guessing. And if the first attempt already succeeded, you avoid making the same change twice. The last mistake is the one that usually causes duplicates. Third, people create, send, or charge without any deduplication logic. The quick fix is to use an idempotency key, a unique constraint, or check before create logic, so the second run updates, skips, or confirms instead of duplicating work. If you cannot prove the first action did not happen, do not blindly repeat it. With that in place, here is the rule I use. Here is the safer decision tree. If the step is read-only, retry is usually fine. If it is a side effect-heavy write, verify first. If it is irreversible or high risk, stop and alert a human instead of letting automation guess. Retry when repetition is harmless. Verify when the result is unclear, and stop when duplicate side effects would cause real damage. That is the guardrail to remember. Let's recap the 3 big ideas. First, retries are not automatically safe. Second, a timeout does not always mean failure. Third, idempotency is what keeps a repeat run from creating duplicate work. If running it twice should still leave you with one clean result, then retrying is much safer. That is the line to remember. Next, I'll wrap up the series takeaway. In the next episode, we'll keep building the reliability picture and look at what usually breaks first in real automation workflows. If this was helpful, consider subscribing so you do not miss the rest of the series. Thanks for watching, and take care.